Pardon my belatedness.
I can't tell you how happy we are to see you.
Oh, Jonathan!
Hey guys, Blazie here, and welcome to this Lazy Blazie review of the D&D Honor Among Thieves movie, or whatever it's called, something like that. So, I know I'm very late to this, but when am I ever on time for anything? I don't know, I only just recently watched this movie, and it's kind of like, this is content, I might as well just do a quick little video on it, why not? So, yeah, I recently watched it. Now, I don't know anything about D&D. My old housemates are sitting there like, you don't know anything about it, why would you watch this movie, and whatnot. Hey guys. I don't know, something like that. But this movie just looked like a lot of fun. I do love fantasy films when done right, and like, has good fantasy elements in it. It has the monsters as the creatures, it has other races all living together and all that kind of stuff. And so I thought, yeah, just from the credits, from the trailers and such, this movie looked like a lot of fun. And so yeah, finally managed to get around to watching it. And this is just a lot of fun. It's just a dumb fantasy film. It is it is really, really good. I really enjoyed this movie. All the acting is really good in it with Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Justice Smith, and I don't know who the other girl is. I apologize. I absolutely apologize for that. They did good. Hugh Grant as the villain did really good. He was kind of fun. It wasn't perfect, but it was pretty fun. The villain was the main kind of villain was a bit but yeah, the acting is really good. The comedy is good. There's some really good comedy in there. But what I most appreciate about this movie is just all the practical effects when it comes to a lot of the other little creatures and animals and other races and such. Like, they actually made full masks and full everything is practical there. I absolutely appreciate that, especially in this day and age. They put in a lot of effort. Like, I've seen plenty of TikToks showing them all off and, like, how many masks they made and all that. It is a shame they're not really in the movie. Or if they are, they kind of just do quick shots, or they just kind of focus on, like, the humans and not so much them. It's a real shame, and I feel like that's because they didn't think they were good enough and whatnot. But come on, it was so cool. It was so cool. Like, it's a shame that, like, they didn't make, like, a character like that as one of the party members. It was a little boring that they were just all humans. Like, come on, at least it was always someone who plays like a goblin or something like that. Like, come on. It's a bit, it kind of sucks in that sense that they're all just humans. But they're not all humans, but you know what I mean. You know, like, have someone be like a dragon race or something like that. It would have been just, you know, a little bit more fun and interesting characters to look at. But yeah, no, I really appreciate that. And of course, I appreciate Jonathan. Jonathan was the movie. He needed to be in it so much more. I've seen like TikToks of him with full wings. They spread out and they look so cool. It's such a cool costume. They put in the work for him. It's so cool. Just all the scenes of him. It's just poor Jonathan. He did not deserve anything that happened to him in this movie. He really didn't. I love Jonathan, even though he's only like so briefly in it, but he's just so memorable. I think part of it is just the name, Jonathan. But yeah, that was so good. He looked so good. I love the faces he makes and everything. He looks so, like, it's just so cool to look at. You know, just seeing these costumes, they actually put in effort. They could have easily CGI'd them, and so glad they did it. So I absolutely appreciate that side of it. Like, the CGI itself in this movie is a mixed bag. There's some, like some of the creatures and all that, like the big pudgy dragon, who I absolutely love, and I love that he gets referred to as Pudgy.
That's one pudgy dragon.
Like, they could have easily just said like, that's a fat dragon. But no, they went, that's a pudgy dragon, which sounds like something a D&D group would use a lot more. Like, oh, like, it sounds more fun and comical and all that. Like, I appreciate that they said pudgy. Because that's exactly what my housemate said. It's like, oh, it's so pudgy. And then, Michelle Rodriguez's character just like, yeah, that's a pudgy dragon. Yeah. I did love him. I love the mimic. I love the weird cat things. Here's the thing. Yeah, I don't know anything about D&D. Know nothing about D&D, as I think I said previously. I don't know anything about D&D. I'm having trouble right now. I have trouble talking outside of this fursuit head on, and I'm not going to sit around with fursuit head on for hours and hours playing D&D. But I have trouble enough talking as it is. So D&D just isn't a game for me. It just isn't. I can't talk. I can't do things. I can't. So it's. Not to mention, I don't like playing games that take that long a time limit, or just you have to put that much of your life into kind of thing. It's just not me. I prefer just pick up and play kind of games. But that's just me. But you don't need to really know anything about D&D to know what's going on, because it's just a fun fantasy film. There's probably like deeper laws and all that kind of stuff that might be nice to understand and know, like the main character, he's something, I can't remember the name of it, so maybe in the lore there's a bit more there to do with it. I don't know, but you don't need to know, which is nice. It's just a dumb fantasy film. And I don't know anything, so I don't know what a lot of the things are. Obviously a mimic is a mimic, because they're always mimics and everything. So I don't know what the cougar thing with the weird vine thingy are. But it looked really cool. A lot of that did look good. It's just mostly a lot of the background kind of zoom ins of areas. Like a lot of the maze kind of stuff looked really bad CGI wise. It didn't look all that good. A lot of that kind of stuff doesn't look good, but it's perfectly fine because everything else does look good. It's very passable for a fantasy film and all that. It's perfectly fine. Yeah. So I'm glad not everything is as that CGI, because then it would have just been not as good. I'm so glad that there is like actual masks and all that stuff. I absolutely just appreciate that for sure. For me, I think Michelle Rodriguez kind of stole the show. I think she was kind of my favorite. She was really cool. I really loved the character. And she gets all the action scenes, and all the action scenes are pretty good. They're pretty well choreographed and just a lot of fun. There's some good little stuff in there they throw in there. I generally enjoyed all that side of things. Yeah, again, this is kind of just a short little lazy review. I only watched it yesterday, and I already forgotten a lot of things. It is one of those films that I am just going to kind of forget about, but I had a lot of fun watching it. I did like Justice Smith. I forgot. That guy, who I might show clips of, blah blah blah, right now to make you understand who he is. I did like him. He was kind of a lot of fun. Like a lot of that kind of stuff, or his little magic he did. Yeah, and I loved the owlbear. The owlbear was really, really cool. I do wish he did a couple more other interesting things. I don't know, obviously, the D&D lore behind a lot of that kind of stuff with the droids and such. But I do wish they did a little bit more there, in terms of different, cooler things, I guess. Instead of just a mouse and a deer and all that kind of stuff. But for what it was, yeah, it's still really, really cool, absolutely. I think pretty much the biggest letdown of this movie is just the main bad guy. It was just boring. It was just boring. Not Hugh Grant's character, the female witch of the movie kind of thing, the witch or wizard or whatever of the movie. They were kind of just they were kind of just there the entire movie, not really doing much, but still being this threat kind of thing. I feel like that side of it was probably the weakest, as I just didn't care about them. That's definitely probably the weakest part of this movie for me. It was perfectly fine, perfectly serviceable, and I understand this is like pretty decent D&D idea kind of thing for a D&D kind of game thing. I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah, again, I like the comedy. I like the acting was good, and I like the characters. I do wish there was more of the mask kind of monsters and creatures and all that. But I did still love the big dragon. I loved him. He was adorable. I mean, of course I did. Of course I love just the big pudgy dragon. What else is new? The film generally looks nice. You know, it's a fantasy film. You want there to be nice settings, and generally there are some really nice settings out there. Yes, again, some of the CGI is a little but when it comes to just like them traveling and all that all those areas look nice. All the actors and characters worked well together. But I generally did like them. There wasn't just like a whole lot of conflict again, like over and over again. Oh yeah, that one other thing is the entire movie he's trying to resurrect his wife. Problem is, you know exactly how that's going to end, and so the main kind of plot is kind of dumb in a way. It's not the best because you know exactly how it's going to end. Generally, you know that. You know how it's got to go, you know how it's got to end, and so the plot and all that, like, it doesn't do anything you're not expecting it to do. And that does kind of suck. But yeah, that does kind of suck. Pretty much the best part of this movie, in the end, though, is Jonathan. Jonathan deserved better. I want to see more Jonathan. There needs to be more Jonathan. Absolutely. I do love the ending scene with him. I did love the ending scene with Jonathan there too. It's just like, no, poor Jonathan. He deserved better. But yeah, it's a really fun film. I absolutely recommend it. Even if you don't like D&D or don't know anything about D&D. Again, I don't know anything about D&D. And yeah, but it's such a dumb film that I absolutely recommend it. You will probably have a good time. If you don't, I apologize. Not every joke landed, but for the most part, it's still just a fun film. So yeah, I do recommend the D&D movie, and I'll give it a 8 out of 10 foxes. It's not perfect. Again, the plot is kind of basic. The main bad guy villain wasn't all that interesting, but just kind of there. And then that's pretty much like my main complaints. Sorry if this isn't a perfect review, or it's just kind of boring, or it's just I don't really explain much. That's just what these reviews kind of are sometimes. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this little lazy review. If you did, give it a like and subscribe to our channel, because I love you if you do. Hit that bell icon, and VitoFox says, be who you want to be. Alright guys, bye for now.